my name's Dave, I'm also known as Infected Flinch, and 10 questions. Again with the fucking questions. What is it with you guys? Stop asking so we have to answer. Cocksuckers. Yeah, so I've got them on my phone here. It's Herbieass007. Seems a nice chap, I've only really seen him so far. Oh, the game behind me, by the way, is Demo's Quest on the CDI, just in case anyone. But yeah, he's asked 10 questions, again. Seems a nice guy. I'd like to get to know him a bit better. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do at the moment, trying to get to know people, and this is how you do it, isn't it? So, 10 questions he's got on here, on my phone. I'm looking down here. So I will answer them the best I can. So, number 1, who is your default MK character? Now, when I read that, I thought Mortal Kombat, and then when I watched the video, it means Mario Kart. If we're going to go on both, right, so you're getting both answers whether you want it or not. Mortal Kombat, Scorpion, no contest. Mario Kart, I was always a sucker for Wario. I always loved Wario. So whenever I went to play it, I mean, back in the day, Wario wasn't in there, I don't think, in the first Mario Kart, so I don't know. I mean, in the newer ones, it's always Wario. I love Wario. I think he's great. Wah, wah. So yeah, I love him. So I think he's great. What is the worst game you've spent most time playing? I'll tell you the worst game. Alone in the Dark, the newest one. Fucking pile of trash. Absolute trash. Because you're playing it and you just think, it can't be this bad. It can't be this humanely awful to do to anybody. You can't physically make this as terrible as that. And it does this dick move halfway through and you just think, fuck it, I ain't doing this no more. So it's got terrible voice acting, the mechanics don't quite work, the story is just completely balls out awful. And then you go through the game collecting roots or something, and then if you get to a halfway point it goes, go back and collect all the roots. And you just think, no, I'm not doing it. Why should I have to force myself? No, let me play the story. You let me skip the rest of it. Why can't I skip this bit? Fucking trash is what it is. Oof. Anyway, don't bother with it. Biggest hobby outside of gaming. Everyone knows what this is for me. It's Transformers. I have a big thing for Transformers. It's one of my big likes. What else do I like? I like beer, if anyone hasn't noticed. I mean, the actual tasting of beer and different types of beer, brewing beer, I like doing that as well. I used to love wrestling. I can still get back into that if I need to. But yeah, I used to love wrestling. Know a lot of terms. It's kind of weird when I talk to people. I will actually come out with terms that probably people would only know, like kayfabe or stuff like that. So I still have that. You know, I went to see him back last month, in fact, and it was great actually. A lot of talent I have never seen before. They were really good, and then there was some talent I was like, weren't you supposed to retire? And they were quite old, but I was just like, yeah, love them, great to have you back. So yeah, there's that. This is it. Films, I love films. It's a bit of a generic thing, but films can become a very opinionated subject in a normal conversation, so you got to be careful sometimes, I think, with that. So, yeah. Do you tone down your accent for YouTube? I think subconsciously I'm doing it, because if I was actually, I mean, you can tell I've got an accent now, but if I have a drink or if I'm talking to somebody from Sheffield or my close mates, I will lapse into that Sheffield accent and no one can understand me. I just disappear into it. So it's a lot of thas and these and what's they doing and stuff like that. So it's like, how's they doing, eh? What's this then? What's going on? What's off? What's you doing? Are you nesh? It's all that kind of stuff. That's how I go if I get going. So I have to tone it down sometimes. I do it subconsciously. One thing I have noticed is that Sheffield has some weird words. Well, the Yorkshire dialect in itself has some really weird ways of saying normal things. So nesh. Nesh means cold. Are you nesh? Means no. There's another one. No, it means no. Saying you nesh. So are you nesh? You're cold. The one that throws everyone off, and I do it on the phone all the time at work, is saying, so say you work between 9 and 5. Most normal people, and I think everyone around the world that has an English language, says 9 till 5 or 9 to 5. We here say 9 while 5. And nobody understands it. If you're from Sheffield or a Yorkshire place, they're fine with it. If you say 9 while 5 anywhere else, they'll go, what? And they will not have a clue what you're talking about. So tomorrow I'm actually working 8 while 4:30. I can hear it. I can hear confusion coming from you. If you're from Yorkshire, it's fine. Anywhere else, you haven't got a clue. See, I'm actually lapsing into my accent now, and because I talk fast, it'll just go. So yeah, I probably don't actually thinking about it. So it's an interesting question, and it might be a topic of discussion. I might actually do a question video or thing on that. That's an interesting one, that one. Thank you. I might have a little chat about that one. An interesting fact the good people of YouTube don't know about you. What could I say? Do you want a depressing one, or do you want an interesting one? Because I ain't got any interesting ones. I'm going to say, I'll tell you that one. As a kid, and I still suffer with this now, I actually have, it's a weird disease that I have, but basically it's called vasculitis, and what happens is, if I get ill, or something's wrong with me, or I'm stressed, what happens is these tiny little blood vessels on my body just burst. That's true. That sounds like I'm making that up just to be a bit awkward, but no, it's true. I have a giant, what looks like a giant stretch mark across my back that basically rebuilds, breaks, goes back again, and it just goes round and round in circles. And I've had that ever since I was 12. I had to go to the doctors, and I had like massive red blotches all over my skin. Looked like an allergic reaction. Some people said it looked like meningitis, but it wasn't. It's actually my blood essentially rejects myself in a way, so my blood vessels burst. So I'll have these little red dots all over my body, and then they'll just rebuild and they'll be fine. I've had that, and I still do now, and that's an interesting fact. I don't know whether or not anybody wanted to know it, but I still suffer with that now, and I've still got some of the scars around my legs, and I've still got that on my back even now. I ain't showing it yet, I can tell you now. Yeah, it's a weird affliction. I don't even know if it is called vasculitis, but that's the only thing they could tie it on. And yeah, it's a very odd affliction, and I still have it now. It just comes and goes as it pleases. So there you go. That's. I don't know if that was interesting or disgusting. I don't know which it was. If money wasn't an issue, would you collect everything? No, I wouldn't, because it's the Paradise Syndrome. Psychoville. There's a show called Psychoville, and if you've never watched it, watch it, because that pretty much sums it all up, and I loved it for that. If you collect everything, you're lost, because you've done it all. And then you have to basically go, I'm going to sell it all, and you start all over again. That's the thrill of it, collecting, because you never stop doing it. If you finish collecting, you go on to something else and you start collecting something else. Unless you're sensible. So, no. If I had all the money in the world, I wouldn't do it. Just purely because of that, I wouldn't do it. I'd just have enough and then long after the one I want. Which is what I do now. And then that's what keeps me going. So, it makes sense to me, that. Which kind of comes into the next question. Are you a collector or a gamer? By default, I'm more of a gamer. There's that video where I'm trying to flog everything. I'm actually a gamer. The reason why I get games is, as I've said before, I get a game to play it, and if I like it, I keep it. If I don't like it, I get rid. So it's not even an idea of space. It's just the fact. And this is actually a good another topic of discussion. I've just lost my phone. There it goes. This is it, right? Collecting stamps. Okay? Yeah? Collecting stamps. Collecting Transformers. You know, they are there to be looked at and gazed upon. Do you know what I mean? They're there for you to enjoy. this is another question I might pose as well. Because he said to me, well, how much do you spend on games? And I says, I don't know, I bet it's about 150 quid sometimes. And he goes, I don't get it. I says, I don't get it, because you're basically buying something that you put on the shelf and never play. The point of a game is to be played. So I says, fair cop, but what about films? And he says, same principle. I don't have any films anymore, because he's a big film buff. I don't have any films anymore, because there's no point in keeping them if they're just going to sit there. I can't just go and go, that's a good film, and then walk away. It's collecting. If you have stamps or something like that, it's there for you to be gazed upon and actually enjoy it, you know. So I understand why people, and this is it, I'm not ragging on the people that collect things, right? That is not what I'm saying here. If you want to collect games, and I like collecting games, I like doing it, but now that when we had that discussion, and I've been partially like that as well before anyway, because it's just solidified it. I mean, you can see all these games behind me. They're just sat there, you know. They're not for me to collect. A game is to be played, and it always has been. And having something pristine in a box, never to be played, it's like, it's odd. I've never understood it. I understand people that buy toys in mint condition and never take them out, because it's there to be looked at. But with games, and quite rightly, it's just sat there not being played when it should be played. It's like people who buy lots of stuff on Steam. Why do people buy so much stuff on Steam? They never fucking play it. I know it's because it's cheap, but some people collect. I mean, another friend at work, he has over 2,000 games, and I think he spent something ridiculous, like 10 grand. It's something massively, or it's just ridiculous. It's enough for a deposit on a house, and he's not played any of them. He genuinely hasn't played any of them, and he's addicted just to collecting things. Look at Grubgun. He collects things, and he actually says every time, I need to play them. And I think that's where I've got to with it. I just want to play games. I think it's a great question, and it always is posed to the retro gaming community while I've been here. Do you collect or do you game? And it's a continuous cycle. I mean, you've got like Tootie who collects, and he plays the odd game here and there, but he must have so many he's never played that have just sat there. He must have. But, you know, I couldn't do it myself. It's my personal preference. I want to just basically, play it, and if I love it, I'll keep it. That's how I see it. That was a long rambling question, wasn't it? Right. Oh, okay. If I have kids, will you encourage your kids to game? Yes. Yes, I will. To be honest, I don't. I hope if I have kids, they will be as smart as I was. Whenever you see anything violent on a screen, you realise that's that, on the screen, and this is me, which is what I used to be like, and it's more of an escape. And the games I probably forced them to play were story games. That's what I would do, because that's what I had on the Atari ST, and that's where a lot of my imagination came from. So yes, I would probably force them to play older games, not newer games, because some of the newer games are shite. So I would probably force them to play on PS1 games. It's kind of cool. My partner has a sister, and she plays all PS1 games. And PS2. She hardly plays any new games, and I think she's cool for that. I think that's really cool that she does that. And I think, if you do have kids, I think you have to kind of tell them, because this is another thing with gaming. It's really odd, because you see some new tubers now that are really young, like 17 Ninjas and a baseball bat. The reason why I like him, because he is young, he's in college, but he acknowledges that there were things before him, and he knows that there's games out there that basically shaped the way to where we get now, and he has all Mega Drive games and Master System games. I don't know how old he is, but I bet that when that came out, he wasn't even alive. So that's the kind of thing I want to see. I want people to kind of, younger kids, realising that where we are now needed to come from somewhere, and a lot of people don't. It's just like, yeah, Call of Duty, yeah, Minecraft, and it's like, right, well, where did that come from? You've got, with Minecraft, you can think of games like SimCity, and, all that kind of stuff, and back before that, and that's what I'd do. I'd say, here, this is where all the history of it began. Now, if you want to play some new games, just remember where it came from. It's a history lesson. So, yeah. Sorry, mate, I'm giving some really rambly answers here. Yeah. Will you be making YouTube videos in 5 years' time? I could be dead in 5 years' time. I don't know. I'd like to think so. I'd like to think I've got more people to talk to. Yeah, and I'd like to think I was doing it. But you never know, do you? You know, I could end up in a car accident. So, okay, shout out for YouTubers you enjoy. I've got the phone special this time because every fucker does this, and I just go, I don't know these guys. So, 3 guys I like, and I will put them down below. Let's have a look who we got in here. Who we got? Novabug, he's always fun. He's always a bit of fun. Sega CD Universe, I've been liking him at the moment. He's been doing stuff in his car and just doing video responses. I like him. He's fun. He's cool. Who else we got? And sorry everyone. What we got? Joysticks. Why not? So those are the 3. So yeah, there was a jump cut because I just thought of somebody else. I'm gonna shout out. I'm gonna do 4. I'm gonna put Chris Hack in there. He's pretty cool. Go check him out as well. Now you're gonna jump cut back into what I was saying before. Yeah, it wasn't gonna be anybody else, was it really? I think my CDI's turned off, hasn't it? Oh no, it hasn't. I thought it had. What a weird game that is. I haven't played that yet. Demo's Quest. Very odd on CDI. So, there you go. There's your 10 answers. Giving me some food for thought there, actually, with some of those questions. So I might pull in a question myself and see if there's any video responses, because you've asked some good questions there, mate. And I feel that I might have to make a video and ask a question. So, anyway, comment, like, and subscribe. Go check out Herbieass007 Ninja Biscuit Twats. He's not a twat, but you know, I just couldn't think of other words. Go check him out, and yeah. See y'all later, bitches.